Hello and welcome to RTD's English News Edition. For the English News Edition, the top stories. The members of the Senate were sworn in today for the legislative elections 2018. And in Europe, storm warning on western of Europe. Thank you for joining us in our newsroom. In the run-up to the next legislative election scheduled for February 23, the members of the Independent National Electoral Commission (CNI) charged with organizing the smooth running of the polls were sworn in today before the Constitutional Council. The members of the CNI are senior officials of the administration, magistrates, or representatives of civil society. They have been appointed by presidential decree. The swearing-in ceremony was attended by the President of the Constitutional Council, Abdi Ibrahim Absiye, and the other members of the Council at the headquarters of the institution. The members of the Senate were sworn in by placing their right hand on a copy of the Holy Quran. They are committed to fulfilling their mission by respecting the laws in force on the procedures for conducting electoral consultations and respecting the secrets of the deliberations. All have sworn to work consciously with transparency and respect for the law. The next legislative elections will take place on the last Friday of February. Under the chairmanship of the Honorable Member Aisha Dabargele, the Foreign Affairs Committee met this morning in Committee Room 1 of the Parliament. On the agenda of this commission were the bills number 208, ratification of the loan agreement between the Republic of Djibouti and the Saudi Development Fund for the financing of Tijarah Road Rehabilitation Project. In the bill number 214, ratification of the Memorandum of Understanding between the Government of the Republic of Djibouti and the Government of the Federal Republic of Ethiopia concerning the creation of a common border post on, and finally number 217, ratification of the Convention on the recognition of studies, certifications, diplomas, degrees and other titles of higher education in the states of Africa. The government was represented respectively by the Minister of Equipment and Transport Mohammed Abdul Qadir and Dr. Nabil Muhammad Ahmed, Minister of Higher Education. The objective of the first project is concerning the financing of the project of rehabilitation of the road connecting the capital to the district of Tijarah. And after successful debates and exchanges, the commissioners gave a favorable opinion that these texts should be submitted to the appreciation of their colleagues at the next plenary session of the National Assembly. And as well, the Minister of National Education today, Mr. Mustafa Muhammad Mahmoud, led the proceedings of a presentation meeting of the model of initial teacher training. The meeting, which took place in the cabin of the MENFAB, gathered all the senior executives and officials of the ministry, but also inspectors and educational advisors of all kinds of teaching. The minister first wished success to the new year 2018. He took the opportunity to highlight the efforts made to improve teaching and learning. Then the General Director of the Teacher Training Center for Basic Education, Aisha Farah Iltirey, presented at length the proposal for a model of the initial training of student teachers. And at the end of this presentation, the Minister and the pedagogical and administrative authorities of the MENFAB had exchanges and reflections on the device and the implementation of the training of the student teachers. The Secretary of State for Youth and Sports, Hassan Mohammed Kamil, received at the end of the morning the founder president of the World Federation of the Kaito Rio. A new martial arts are in vogue in the world of Sese Loita and the senior officials of the Djiboutian Federation of the Kaito Rio, including the newly elected President Mr. Daoud Ali. This discipline sees the number of practitioners multiply throughout the world, and today the Grand Master had the pleasure of meeting with the minister to discuss from the outset this discipline, the spiritual dimension of this sport, of this martial arts, that is the Kaito Rio. The Grand Master at first thanked the Secretary of State for the interest in this discipline and received them despite his busy schedule. The founding president of the Kaito Rio then focused on the main purpose of this meeting, where he explains what the Kaito Rio is, a martial art that constitutes a method of martial, moral, spiritual, mental and physical education. The Kaito Rio implies a deeper knowledge of his body, mental strength and better coordination of his movements, he said. Mahmoud Roble Dabar, director of Central Railway Company, said the first passenger train left the Ethiopian capital Addis Ababa this morning for Djibouti City. This train can take 1,000 passengers and 3,500 tons of goods. The director pointed out that this train is expected in Djibouti in the early evening and that a schedule of departures or arrivals in both directions has been established. Let's listen to him.
I would like to announce to our citizens that the railway station is opening its commercial doors to the public. The first train left Addis Ababa 8:30 this morning, January 3, and its arrival was planned this morning to Djibouti at 6 p.m. sharp. The first week operations will be limited to Djibouti Diridawa due to a lack of customs and immigration service deployment. But after this first week, the train will go from Diridawa to Nagar and vice versa. After 3 months, it will always be a train leaving from Djibouti to Diridawa and Diridawa to Djibouti. But during this month of January, it will have a depart of 2 days. As for general information, I want to tell to our citizens that the test period is over and the security of the structure of the railway was delivered to the 2 countries. The reception of all the infrastructure materials was done last week, and the 2 countries have 41 locomotives. 6 locomotives have diesel electric motors and 1,010 locomotives of different types and goods and 30 traveling locomotives. We have scheduled to train for a short-term period. 15 traveling wagons. The capacity of the commercial wagon is from 3,500 pounds to 4,000 pounds by train. For passengers, the train is composed of a sitting part and a relaxing part. It is expected to hold 1,000 people.
The director has also specified the different classes for the rail transport, whether for adults, children or goods. Let's follow his explanations.
For the ticket from Nagar to Al Sabih, 710 franc Djibouti, 350 for children younger than 12 years. It is the half price. It is its half price. From Nagar Diridawa, 3,070 franc Djibouti and 1,540 franc Djibouti for children younger than 12 years old. Nagar to Addis Ababa, it's 7,920 for adults, and for the children it's half of their price for the seats. When it comes to the comfortable area, we have a hard and a soft bed that you can relax on. For the hard bed, the price from Nagar to Diridawa will be 5,500 franc Djibouti, and for the children it's half of the price. For Nagar Addis Ababa, the price is 13,250 franc Djibouti, and for children it's half of the price. The soft bed Nagar to Diridawa, 7,700 franc Djibouti, and for children it's half of the price. And the soft bed again from Nagar to Addis Ababa, it is 20,000 franc Djibouti. This weekend we will serve the passengers leaving Nagar to Diridawa and vice versa. From the next week, the train will start its journey from Addis Ababa, Labur, Adama, Diridawa, Ali Sabih, Nagar, and vice versa. I will also like to inform that the train will work 1 day in 2 days. The other information that is, for the 5 upcoming days, we will make the elders a 50% discount on their price. In this short term, they will just have to divide their initiative price by 2. The tickets are in sale at the Nagar station from this afternoon on the Thursday morning from 9 a.m. to 6 p.m. We are asking to our passengers to respect the security measures that are made to facilitate the work of the immigration department. We ask to facilitate the work of the Douane service for more security measures. We will implement the same security measures that we have at the airport. The gendarmes will be stationed at the door of the station. The persons will have to have their passport on their hands to be allowed to enter to the station. Every person that is not going to respect those measures will be severely judged.
Under the auspices of the State Secretary for Youth and Sports, yesterday, the community center of the stadium held preparations for the national dialogue between the head of state and youth. To this end, the organizing committee met the young people of the neighborhood in order to prepare them for this unprecedented meeting. This meeting was attended by the technical advisor of the Secretary of State, Mrs. Deqa Ali Idli, the director of the National Institute of Sports Training, Saeed Ali Hussein, Director of the Neighborhood 7 Community Center, Quraisha Ali Gedi, Director of the Community Center, Mrs. Ruqiyya Hassan Sheikh, and Mr. Mustafa Noor, entrepreneur and native of the district. It should be noted that this great new debate between the youth and their president will take place at the end of January, and the interactive exchanges between these young people and the organizing committee focused on the relevant issues to be raised during this meeting. Young people follow one another to speak. They have not failed to emphasize the need for the establishment of a fair policy favoring the integration of Djibouti youth into the process of socio-economic development. They spoke of the need to see more recreation centers and let's recall that the many questions raised by young people during their interventions are retained by the organizing committee, which will make summary document, and this document will contribute to the formulation of future recommendations. And on Tuesday, yesterday, the dozens of young people responded to the meeting of the community center in neighborhood 6 as part of the national dialogue with youth initiated by Its Excellency. This meeting between young people in a small organization committee is part of a vast awareness campaign, mobilization and selection of girls and boys picked by the State Secretary of Youth and Sports preparations for the National Youth Conference. As always, the meeting in neighborhood 6, besides the young people, brought together on the spot several members of the organizing committee of the national dialogue with the youth, in this case Muhammad Ali Dato, technical advisor to the presidency Abshir Ali Hassan, director of sport Abdurrahman Mohammed, technical advisor at the Ministry of Employment. Mr. Abshir opened the meeting explaining to young people the ins and outs of this dialogue wanted by the head of state and cautious to constantly refine strategies masterfully designed for the youth, which he is the true instigator. For his part, Ali Dato explained to young people the objectives of this new national dialogue present youth, a force in Djibouti for groups of young people from all municipalities and regions without distinctions of tribes, confession or political opinions. In turn, girls and boys raised specific, profound and relevant questions in their interventions. And now, moving on to the international news. A storm warning on Western Europe. The wind is strong in Western Europe, and in Germany, violent gusts led to 3 falls and road closures, particularly in the Cologne area, where scaffolding collapsed on parked vehicles without causing injury. In France, the storm Elnur arrived this Wednesday, resulting in the closure of the Eiffel Tower, which recorded gusts up to 140 kilometers per hour. Air traffic was also disrupted in Paris Charles de Gaulle with many delays this morning, while flights were suspended for a few hours at the airport of Basel, Mulhouse and Strasbourg. Nearly 50 French departments are placed in orange vigilance, and Eleanor, who heads to the Alps and Corches, hit the northern half first, especially Brittany and Normandy, driving 200,000 homes of electricity, and this sequels caused several injuries and required many interventions by firefighters. And before France, the storm caused significant floods in Ireland, including Galway, the 4th largest city on the west coast. There too, thousands of homes are deprived of power, and many homes and businesses were flooded with water. We're here we close this national edition. Thank you for joining us on RTD channel, and have a good night.